All right, Mach 10 podcast episode number 2 is happening right now.
My name is Leonard Provost. I'm a Blackfoot stuntman actor, soon-to-be filmmaker.
Welcome to the Mach 10 podcast. You bunch of wankers.
This has been a long time in the making. We've talked about doing this for a while now, and you have such a busy schedule, so I appreciate you being here. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided tonight that you were going to spend the time with the Mach 10 podcast today, so I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very grateful to be here. And yeah, we have been talking about this for a while. So
Yeah,
now we're finally here. And
we're doing it, man. We're going to share stories, and we talked a little bit beforehand, and I'm really excited to hear a few of those stories again and new ones that you're going to share. And I'm sure all our listeners are going to be just as intrigued. So you're literally a professional stuntman. Like, this is what you do. This is what you do for a living. This is what you do for money. You know, while some of us are sitting in an office, typing stuff into Excel sheets, you're jumping into frozen lakes and falling off horses, getting shot, and
Yeah.
just loving life.
yeah, pretty much like I've been doing this for getting close to 25 years. It is my career. I train hard for everything I do. If there's a certain role that needs a certain size or fit, or let's say it's a stunt where it's going to be having to do some falling or fighting, or just whatever is going to be thrown at me, I just got to be ready for it.
So are you strictly a stuntman, or do you act as well?
Well, I started out in the film industry as a stuntman. A lot of it was Western films and, riding horses bareback, running, jumping off, fighting, tomahawking, spear throwing, scalping.
What's that, just like your normal day to day, or what?
Yeah, I wake up in the morning and be like, yeah, I'm going to go scalp a couple of people today. I should be back around 5 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go.
But I did go to film school.
And where'd you do that?
I did that in Toronto, right downtown on Dundas and Yonge Street, like
Oh,
right
right
on
on.
the square
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it was probably like the best thing I've done. But that's not how I got into the film industry. I've actually I grew up in a rodeo family. My dad was a bucking horseman, contracted a lot of rodeos and pro rodeos. So like every weekend after school was like showtime. We gotta bring horses to a rodeo to perform, and we bring our juice and our best, and people loved riding them, and I seen how cowboys were excited to get on them. So I grew up watching rough stock all my life and raising bucking horses. And then after that, we started doing a live show called Wild Horse Show in Buffalo Chase, which was for tourists. We had it along the Buffalo Jump the first year, and then we moved it along the highway between McLeod and Brockett.
Oh, so that's here in Alberta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it ran in the '90s, and it was a good run. We had a lot of people come out and who was never like familiar with horses or did much of that. But when they were working at the show, they developed their skills the hard way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like there was nothing easy about jumping on broncs, wild horses, riding bareback. Sometimes our horses, like, they'll test you, if you're riding them bareback, you got to make sure you're confident and, you're just out there to have some fun and connect with the animals.
Yeah.
The main thing about it is connecting with the horses when you're performing. So like, I was pretty young. I was a teenager when I did that. And then and then I got, my mom after school brought us to audition for stunts for a show called Dreamkeeper. So me and my brothers went and it just started from there. Like there was a bunch of older, like our uncles and their buddies. They were kind of like at my age where I'm at right now. They were like, just out there being the main guys out there. And I was really young. I was like 17, 18. My brother Ty, he was pretty young. He was probably like 4. I can't remember how. He was really young when he did a stunt because he jumped off a cliff at a young age. And then my older brother Tim, he was, like we all kind of started at the same time. We all grew up doing rodeo. We all grew up doing the live show. Then we started doing film. and then, so on.
So you had the support from your family,
Yeah.
like at a young age going into it. Because a lot of parents would want their kids, going into like a safe type of job, like an office job or something like that. But you had the support from your family to
Yeah.
do or to get into the film industry,
Yeah.
start doing stunts and things like that. But I guess you were already kind of doing that,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, like growing up on the ranch with horses and, especially like with the rodeo family, we have bucking barrels, we have horses that we're breaking, and we jump on those and we take a tumble.
What does it mean? What does horses that are breaking mean?
Oh, sorry. Like when you're when you're taming a horse, like you're getting it you started off when it's wild and breaking it to be a more tame horse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you and everybody else can ride it. So sorry, I'm when I talk like that, I just kind of assume that everybody knows.
I have no idea, man. I
the
have
vocabulary
no idea, and I'm
of,
gonna ask you.
horses.
I'm gonna ask you.
But yeah, like that's how everything, like, it just kind of worked its way into the industry. I feel like, because around Alberta, most of the films that are shot around here are Western,
Right.
and that's really that includes, like, you have to be a really good rider and be good around horses, and I mean, I never really knew much about acting until I went to film school, and I never really knew people around here that were really actors. Like back in the day, it was like, oh, so and so was on this show, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I was super, because you know how it was back in the 80s and 90s. Like, we barely watched TV. There was no cell phones or anything like that.
I was a baby in the 80s.
Oh, really? Well, I was born in the early 80s, so like I kind of remember that little in the later 80s. So, only having one channel, and so I was never inside watching TV. When I did watch TV, I was amazed by everything I saw,
Right.
and but I never thought like I was gonna be where I'm at. I honestly thought everything was gonna be rodeo. I was like, I'm gonna be a bronc rider, a bareback rider. I'm gonna be a world champion, because that was the thing back in the day. Was rodeo was so big, and I thought, well, I'm gonna make a living off of it and stuff. But it never happened, and I seen it fading out. And then when we did this show, the show was like, it started to really pick up a lot. We started getting like a lot of tourist attractions. We started getting like a lot of people coming out to work, and then it just died off. There was some stuff that happened, financial things that, of course, would stop a business like that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But I mean, that's how everything kind of started off. So when I did, sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth.
Oh, this is good. No, I want to hear the story, man. We want to start from the beginning. Let's hear.
Yeah. So like, and then after that, we started getting into like more Westerns, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, Into the West. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I want to try other roles. I want to start doing other things, not just play myself all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was it? Passchendaele came out. There was a small show called Dear Prudence. And these were shows where I was like a cop, a soldier. I was kind of doing different things. And I thought, oh, hey, this is pretty cool.
How'd you get those roles? Like, did you have like a manager or something like that getting you these roles, or were you
No, I actually
going out
never.
there and just hustling and getting them yourself?
It's funny. I had some agents. Like, I went through 2 agents already, and well, I'm still on my second. But like, all the roles that I have gotten was just like I got them on my own. Like, they knew that I could ride horses.
Right.
They knew I could do this, and they're like, "Oh, Leonard would be perfect for this role." So like, or not the role, but Leonard can ride. Him and his brothers. That's what we're known for. Like me and my brothers, or Leonard, Tim, and Ty, the
Oh,
brothers.
okay.
Call
Yeah.
up the brothers. Get them on set, because we can all do the same thing together. Like, but we all have different. We're all good at something different.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
Right.
but
All
like,
like your expertise and
Yeah.
in your own way.
yeah. So like, but like it was like we're known as the stunt brothers to like come work on set. So I did have an agent before, and I was doing auditions and stuff, but I wasn't landing because I didn't know anything about acting just yet. And it wasn't until like after the Revenant, that's when I decided to go to film school. So I was already like 31, yeah, when I went to film school.
And that was a big movie, man.
The
Like,
Revenant,
yeah.
yeah.
like literally working with Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Yeah, I when I first heard about it, I was I think it was up around Edmonton, someplace around there, and somebody said, "Did you hear Leonardo DiCaprio's coming to Alberta to shoot a film?" And I was like, "No," they said he's doing a Western film. They need some native. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Well, I'll probably get a call then, but I gotta go audition like everybody else." So, and I was watching Wolf of Wall Street one time, and I was just like, "Man, this is such an amazing show. Like, I love this show. One of these days, I'm gonna work with this guy. One of these days, I'm gonna work with Leonardo DiCaprio." And it wasn't long after that. After this movie came along, we had auditions. There must have been over like 200 people lined up at this tent, maybe even more. Like, I'm just guessing as a number, but there was a big long line. And we did the audition of fighting, and so growing up with brothers and play fighting and real fighting.
Yeah, probably more real fighting.
And I'd like even growing up when I was younger, like there was like just this is how it was in school. Um, but I mean, it wasn't always like that. But I mean, with your brothers and stuff, your older brothers, because I'm the second youngest. So like we've had some play fights and we had some real fights, and.
It's funny, you were probably used to like real fighting, so you had to learn how to fight in movies. So you had to learn how to not land a punch because you're probably used to landing them.
Well, that's why my little brother came in. Like when I play fight with him, I never hit him, so that kind of helped me to like play fight.
Yeah.
But with my older brothers, like I had to,
You got to land them.
I gotta show some muscle,
Yeah.
some muscle
Yeah.
back at him. But I mean, like, I guess grew up watching wrestling. I knew it was fake, but like they made it so real. And me and my brothers, we had a trampoline. We used to pretend to wrestle on the trampoline, and so like when I went for these fighting auditions, I kind of think about how I would be with my younger brother or my older brother when we used to play fight,
Right.
make it look real,
Right.
make it almost hurt each other, but not quite hurt each other.
I mean, it's still real,
Yeah.
like with professional wrestling, maybe the stories are scripted, but jumping off the rope and doing a backflip is not CGI. That is really someone
That is
doing that.
Yeah,
And you sometimes do land hits and slaps and people get hurt.
yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
real stuff.
I was almost gonna do that, but we'll get to that point later.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, going back to this audition, most of the auditions that I did in the past were just with horses. So I would like, do my audition with the horse, run around, gallop, figure eight, jump off, jump on, war cry. That was kind of more audition with horses, and they see how you can control that and
Right.
handle that. But with fighting, it's really, you really have to land those points of, making it real and just selling it. Depending on where the camera angle is, as long as you sell it, as long as like everybody's on beat, as long as there's trust between you and the person you're working with, everything really works out good.
So that's one thing. Like you have to build trust with the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
Right. That's got to be an important thing
Yeah, it
because you're
is.
not always working with people that you're
No.
going on to a set and hey, this is who you're going to be working with, and you're like, listen, like we could be putting each other's lives in each other's hands.
Yeah.
So you got to build that relationship, right? Like how
Yeah.
do you do that? Like what is there a secret?
Well, there's like we have rehearsals, like there's been times where I met people on set where I just met them and be like, hey, my name's Leonard Provost, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do here and do this and that. But I'm at the point now where I've worked with a lot of people from Alberta, a lot of stunt performers, and worked with the coordinators too. So I kind of like know everybody. So I kind of like I kind of know how everybody's like skill is, and I'm comfortable with it. And they know me, and they're comfortable with me.
Do you ever get a bad feeling? Like you meet someone and you're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe you're new, and everyone new needs
yeah.
a shot,
Yeah.
but I'm not the guy to give you that shot.
I was in Romania filming George Washington, and we were on this battlefield. And well, when we first got there, they said, "Hey, man, these guys are short. Some stunt performers. You want to dress up like like the curly white hair,
Oh,
with
yeah.
the hat,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
red suit, and everything." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, dress me up, man.
Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it. Let's do it. That's why I'm here, you know. Doesn't matter what it is I'm doing. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
stunts, you know. So I got up and I got dressed and I went out there and I, you know, because we're doing this part where we have to like collide with each other and we're holding these big guns with swords at the end of it, you know. And I asked her, I was like, all right, well, who's my partner? And they're like, that guy over there. And then like, but you know what? Everybody on that field, nobody spoke English.
Oh shit.
Everybody and nobody, like, there was a couple of interpreters. I had to be like, who speaks English here? Yeah, you come here. Tell him that I'm gonna come running. I'm gonna swing this way, and then like if he can block, you know, miss it, and then attack me back, you know. And he speaks Romanian to him,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, oh, and I was like, he kind of looked at me like if he wasn't sure. I was like, oh my god, all right, everybody to their ones, you know. We
And you're
backed
thinking,
up, and I was like, I don't even know if he understands what I'm doing, you know.
like, I'm gonna get a sword right in the neck.
So like it was really hard to like try and work with people that don't speak English, you know,
Yeah, that'd be
especially like
tough.
across seas and like and I mean they didn't even really know about us really too. Like they didn't really know about natives much. We were like a real like new to them when we showed up there, you
Oh,
know.
really? Really?
Yeah. I mean one guy even asked me if we still lived in teepees and I was like, well, yeah, we can't. We still use teepees, but we don't like, you know, live. We
Yeah.
have houses like everybody else, but we still have our teepees, if that's what you mean. But like again, it was somebody that couldn't really speak, and the only person that was interpreting to me was like asking about teepees. So like I wasn't sure what his question really was.
Right, right. You know, there's a lot of people that aren't educated of, different cultures and,
Yeah.
things around the world. Like people still think, Canadians in general, like we live in igloos. It's like, okay, there are people that
Yeah.
do, but, you know,
Yeah.
we don't. Not all of us do, right?
Hmm.
And actually, let me ask: is it Native or is it First Nations? What excuse my ignorance, but what's the proper terminology?
I mean, everybody has their own different perspective way of accepting their native or First Nation or Aboriginal or Indigenous or straight up Indian, you know, like yeah, that's like Indian was the first thing that we were, you know, and then it started changed to Native. And I mean, I always say Native. I always say Blackfoot Native. Blackfoot is, you know, this is where I come from, the Blackfoot, and I'm Native. Native is so because like I'm Native like all the other natives.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so
Okay.
that's how I always pronounce my why when I introduce I'm Blackfoot Native.
Perfect. No, it's
Yeah,
that's good to know. Like I said, the people who aren't educated and asking that question, I'm clearly
yeah,
not, right?
yeah,
So sometimes you just got to ask, right?
yeah.
So the question though was, do you think that your native heritage or being Blackfoot helps you get certain roles? Do you apply for roles that if you see, oh, we need native actors, do you tend to gravitate toward those roles or not necessarily? It just, you kind of take any role that you want, maybe that doesn't have anything to do with,
I'm at the point where I'll take any role. Like I'll try anything right now. After being in film school, um, it just showed me how to expand and play different things. You know,
right.
back then in the day, it was like you know before went to film school, it was based on horses and stuff. Like if these native films had horses in it, then yeah, I would get a phone call. You know, and you know, show up on set and stuff. But like there was native sets out there that didn't have horses, and I never got any calls for it. So it was just like strictly native actors, and you know, if there was any stunts on there, it was probably like maybe like a trip or a fall or a car or something.
Right.
Um, but majority of the time we get called up when there's horses involved.
So some of the like the horse stunts, like you're falling off horses, right?
Yeah,
And at first maybe it seems, oh, that's not too exciting, but the second you sit on top of a horse or you stand beside a horse, you're like, fuck, these things are big, right? And it's scary enough to like ride your bike and
Mhm.
purposely fall off your bike. Like, I don't know, my brain would tell me, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
And some of these horses are big and they run fast and they're flying.
Oh yeah.
And your job is to jump off it or shoot, and some of the roles, right? You're shooting, you're
Yeah.
hanging off.
There was a show we did a couple winters ago, and it was -30, and I had to, on top of this hill, run down the hill full speed and get shot off. I mean, we weren't like at a full speed, but we had to have a good gallop because like when you're going into a battle scene, you're not gonna just trot in there.
Now you're
You're gonna
flying.
you're gonna go in there with force, you know?
Yeah.
So that was, that was part of the scene. So we come running down this hill, and it was like, -30, and it was like end of November, and I had to get shot off the horse. So I had to like dive off the horse, and I landed on my chest, and then just kind of like tucked and rolled after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, but like doing that, like there was one guy that taught me how to fall, and I just took his words of wisdom, and then I just kind of practiced in the arena after. Was Brett the Hitman Hart?
Brett. I
Shit,
love
yeah.
Brett. Canadian.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
man. I met him through Gabriel Luna, and Gabriel Luna introduced Brett to me and my brothers, and Brett said, how old are you? And at the time, I think it was like 37. I was like, 37. He goes, oh, you got some years left in you. Um, you should, you ever think of wrestling? And I said, no, I was always a fan. Like, I'm super fan of you, Brett. Like, so like he would like, we had a meeting one time. He says, well, come by, meet the guy I trained. His name was Mo. He said, and we'll talk to you about this, eh? So we sat down. And we sat down for about 3 hours. It was like a couple weeks after that. We sat down for 3 hours, and he was talking to me about everything in wrestling. And we are talking about the falls, on your chest and on your back. Because like in wrestling, yes, it is, it's theater. It's worked out, but I mean, like, it's still wrestling. It's still hardcore. There's still people. It's just like doing stunts,
Yeah.
We plan out, but things can happen. So like he really talked to me a lot about falls and everything, having to like, build up your confidence. There's a proper way to do it. That's why it's called professional wrestling. Because at the end of the day, you should be going home not being hurt.
Right.
You and your partner that are in the ring together got to have that trust. You got to have that, connection and be able to do it safely and professionally. Just
Yeah,
like with
yeah.
stunts, stunts is, I'm sure anybody can do what we do if they just did it out of the blue, but they would probably get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could fall off a horse,
Yeah.
but like once,
Yeah.
and then that's it.
So like he really talked to me about falling, and I really took it in, and I was like, so I went back home in the arena, and I was preparing for this fall, and like when I was doing it, I was like, hey man, I feel good. I'm ready to rock and roll. So let's show up on this day. So
Yeah.
I show up on the day, and I was like, well, it's snow, I'll fall in snow. And I just
Padding.
found
It's
I
gonna
found
be. Is
out-
it gonna be easy?
I found out this was supposed to be a summer scene. So they got like this helicopter fly down and blow all that snow away that I thought was gonna be my padding. Blow all the snow away, solid frozen ground. And I'm like,
I didn't know that was something that they did.
well, like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do if the weather comes early, right?
I guess. Yeah.
But like it snowed early. So anyways, yeah, so I had to fly down that hill, and I made that jump about 4 times. And then on the 5th one, when I made that fall 4 times and landed on my chest. And then after that, kind of waited around for a bit, My body started freezing up, started like tensing up. I thought, oh, I think they must have got it. Like, Mike probably gonna go. No, they never have it. They want to do it again. Can you do it again? I can do it again.
Yeah. All right.
But I should have
It's gonna
like,
cost you.
yeah. But at that time, I was kind of like, I was pretty cold at the end of the day and stuff, and I kind of did the fall different. It's a lot different falling when you can't see what you're doing. Because like this time I had to fall on my back, and
Do they tell you how to fall? Do they say
Well,
we
they-
need
they-
you to land this way or that way? It's not just land in frame. It's land
it's like
this way.
it's how like what makes sense, I guess. Like what's happening. Like if I got shot, I took the shot where it turned my body, but they wanted me to take the shot where I get like blowing backwards off the horse.
Oh yeah.
So I did that, and that's where I know I was trying really hard to go square on my back. So, anyways, action, run down the hill, and then I tried to like land it right on my back, but because like the horse we're going so fast, it just kind of like turned my body a little bit, just enough for my shoulder to impact it, where my bone, my arm that's connected to the shoulder, that bone, like slip right out of
Oh
the
shit,
socket.
it
Like,
sounds so painful.
oh my god! And I
I
laid
don't do
there,
good
and
with pain.
I played dead till they said cut. Otherwise, I could have said, "Oh, my arm." And stuff. I was like, I laid there, and I never heard cut yet. I was like, but what's going on here? Like, there was like this pain shooting from my heart to my head. It was just like up and down, up and down. And all I heard was cut. And I don't know how the hell I got on my feet, but I was up on my feet like that, like stood up from laying on my back on the ground, and then I stood back onto my feet, and I was like, oh, my arm just like it was like hanging off my body. It seemed like, like I was like, this is not good. And I started walking up that hill, holding my arm. I was like, this is not good. And the guy comes up to me with the horse, jump on, I'll bring you, or jump on your horse and ride back up. I was like, I can't, man. My arm is like hanging off my body.
My arm is not attached to my body anymore.
My body no more. He's like, what the hell? And I like showed him a little bit, and then he's like, oh my god, like, are you gonna be able to make it up there? And I was like, I'm fucking not stopping.
Yeah, yeah.
And I go up there in the corner. He's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I dislocated it. And he looks at us, holy shit, get to the hospital. So like, go to the hospital, and it was kind of a funny story going to the hospital. Because like I had my buckskin outfit on, I had my wig on, I was like, and
who the hell
like,
is this guy?
Yeah, they brought me to wait for the ambulance, and I told that driver, I was like, we're not waiting, man, we're fucking going, like keep going to the hospital. We go into emergency, and I was like, oh shit, I'm still in my wardrobe, And they put me in the wheelchair, and the guy's bringing me in. What happened? What happened to this guy? And I was like, I got shot going into battle. And the whole waiting room looks at me because I got like this wig on. I got my bridge cloth and my leggings, my moccasins on, and everyone kind of looked at me like, what the hell's going on here?
Send me to the psych ward on level 4.
So like, I thought that was pretty funny. But the guy pushing me was from film set, and he was like, oh no, we're actually shooting a film, and he got hurt on set. And
oh yeah.
I thought it makes sense. And I said, oh, so what, we got a funny guy here or what? I was just trying to make myself in good spirit because, man, I tell you, I was like in so much pain.
Oh
like,
yeah.
To stay like that for probably almost 2 hours before they popped it back in place,
But it doesn't deter you away from the industry.
No.
It doesn't scare you. It doesn't make you think, or maybe it does. Or does it make you think, hey, listen, all right, this time maybe I got off easy. Yeah, I got an injury. I'm going to live. I'm going to make it. But does it ever make you think, shit, I might do a stunt and land on my neck and like break my neck?
Yeah.
Do you ever think that? Like, are you afraid of dying? Do you ever think that? Because for me, I don't mean to interrupt. For me, when I was riding motorcycles, there were a couple of times when I almost got T-boned, and I had my family in the car following me, and they saw it like right in town here. And that happened twice. And I guess for me, twice was enough that when I started to ride, I started to overthink, and I started to think to myself, shit, here I am booking it on the highway. A truck could pull out and I'd have no chance and I'm dead. Or a pothole or something, all these things, and start to take the fun out of riding. And I was like, I guess that's it. So I ended up selling. So for you doing these stunts, do you ever get to a point where you're like, man, I'm overthinking, maybe this isn't for me anymore, or I'm getting too scared or anything like that? Does that ever cross your mind?
Well, no, it's never.
That's funny. Just straight, no, nah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I mean, like, I've been in a lot of accidents growing up in my life. Like I've been in a lot of wrecks with horses. Growing up in my younger years, I used to ride Saddle Bronc from when I was 16 up and just when I hit 20, and then until I started doing film, and then everything was film because it pays more than the rodeo does.
Yeah.
I've actually been in like a lot of car accidents. offset, like just in general. I've had some other wrecks just doing whatever with horses, and yeah, I don't know. I think because I've kind of felt the pain of it. Um, I never really thought about like, what if I die or anything. Honestly, there's been times where I thought, like, there was one time where I thought I did die. Maybe I did. It was like a head-on collision car accident, and after that, I kind of had other accidents follow up with that, and horse wrecks where I got hung up in a stirrup and like
With the car crash, how'd you know, or what made you think that
that I almost
that
died.
you almost died?
Well, it was a head-on collision, and I just seen all white. Everything just had like I was sitting in the front seat, and the car was coming. I was on the wrong side of the lane, and I heard my mom swear and swerve to try to dodge it, and all I seen was headlights come right for my window, and before it even hit, everything just like went completely white, and it was like so calm. Like I didn't even feel like nothing, and then all of a sudden, like this black just kind of started covering all this white into like a circle. The next thing, as soon as they covered all that white, it's like I just opened my eyes and I was like crushed with this vehicle that hit right where I was sitting, crushed me into the. We had like a great big van, those big steel vans that kind of had like the propane tank in the back, the doors open on the side.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
always call
yeah.
it the Lane Frost van. I don't know if you ever watched 8 Seconds, but
The lane for I gotta look that up.
the Lane Frost van. It's like a great big brown van. My mom used to buy those vans like all the time, until we had that car accident. Then that was the end of buying those kind of vans.
Yeah, I was like bad luck. I'll have to find a
Well, I
picture
think
of
it
it.
was just like bad feeling of it. Like maybe it was just so much trauma that happened with that during that accident.
Yeah, yeah.
But I snapped my femur right in half, and it was like, it was snapped in half, sticking out of my leg, and there was like,
Isn't that like the strongest bone or the
yeah,
biggest
the
bone?
biggest bone in your body. Yeah. So I had that snap on me, and I had to get like a pin in my chin, so I can pull the femur bone apart, and then take the weights off that pin, and then allow the bone to connect back together and heal.
Oh my god, man.
And like it's like, that was like I was like in '92. That was in 1992 when that
So you're
happened.
just a young guy when that happened.
Yeah, man. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old, I
Oh, you're just
believe.
like, oh, I love this. I love the pain. I love the danger. I want to get into this
Like
as a career.
I was sitting in the hospital bed for 2 months, and then I came out. I was in a cast for like maybe another 6, 7 months, and then like I never walked for like almost 2 years. So like I had to learn how to walk all over again, and yeah, like it
That's
was
scary,
funny.
man. That's scary.
It is, like before this car accident, I was playing hockey, and then when I came out of this car accident and started learning how to walk again, I never got back into hockey because like I don't know. I was just everybody was skating really good at the time, and I remember before I got into this car accident, I was still struggling to skate.
Yeah.
I was wondering how it'd be if I ever did, try to play again. But then, because my family is up with rodeo and stuff, so I started riding steers, you know, and everything was just about rodeo. Like it was really like I played basketball in high school. That was the only thing I did. I tried rugby a couple times and
So like athletic person, right? You're
fucking
always
got rocked pretty good in that one.
yeah, that's one I stay away from. Like I'm a big guy, but I stay away from that. I don't know, man.
But yeah, mainly it was all rodeo and stuff. So like, that car accident, I don't know, I never really thought of like, it doesn't really, it's just something that I know that happened to me, like the trauma, but I never have fear of it, like,
Right. I think that's important, especially in your career, then to not have fear of it because that'll absolutely paralyze you from doing the stunts that you
mhm,
need to do.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, no, it's, being on all these wrecks and everything and, getting bucked off horses and rodeo and then doing horse falls and film, um, to me, I don't really think about like getting hurt or anything like that. To me, it's about being in fit. I gotta stay in shape. I gotta watch how I eat. I gotta watch how I train. I gotta you know, I run a lot. That's one of like my best favorite workout is just jogging through the Bull Trail, through Indian Battle Park.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I came across some big snakes on Bull Trail, I'll tell you, like big, freaking long snake.
So you know what's funny? My wife is terrified of snakes, and I think just like a lot of people are. We have a
Yeah.
lot of snakes here in Alberta. I don't think I've ever seen one snake.
Oh,
I've actually never seen one snake, and people say, "Oh yeah, they're on this trail in here," and
yeah.
I've been down those trails, and I've never seen them.
Damn. I had one where I was running a trail and then he was probably like heading down the hill or something and he was probably like on a good move. And like I was running, had my speakers on, and something beside me just like popped up, almost to like my shoulder, like just popped up at the ground. And I jumped away, and the freaking snake jumped up. Like I must have scared it as much as it scared me. And we both just jumped away like that. Like it literally popped up from the ground. I was like, oh, what the fuck? I was like jumping up and down and just like staring off. I was like, holy shit! Like, that
If
snake
your
just
heart
jumped.
wasn't racing already from the run, it probably was after
Oh
that.
man, I was running after that.
Yeah, yeah, no
I
kidding.
was like, but I was like just trying to run off this adrenaline that just happened.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like,
That's
kind of
part of
weird.
your training. That was part of your stuntman training, all right?
But I mean, like, yeah, like I don't really think about. I mean, if I think that I'm gonna get hurt, then that means I'm not training.
Right.
You know, like it means like something's come up, and like, oh, I didn't get ready for it. Like, you know, there. But like, like if it's something really just out of the blue, oh, we need you this like right away. Like, you know, I wouldn't doubt myself or anything, but you know, try and give myself time to get myself a little bit prepped for it.
But you're not just a stunt man, right? Because you're a stunt coordinator. So you don't just get thrown into a role and say, okay, I'm here to do all the things that people don't want to do, or, but you also coordinate the stunts, the safety, you train for it, you train other people for it.
Mhm.
So you have an understanding of what it takes to do a role or to do a stunt and do it
Yeah.
safely, right?
Well, I've coordinated a few times, you know, on some lower budgets, but like I guess coordinating some of the younger guys that are coming into the industry just off the side of showing them the ropes about what it is to be a stunt person, what it is to be like on set, what you got to do to like earn your respect, and you know, and to have you know, to be professional, you know, about everything.
I guess that's the other thing. We're having fun with this conversation. We're joking around. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, you got hurt, and oh, that's a cool story. But at the same time, it's it's serious. It's professional,
Hmm.
right? People
Yeah.
can lose their lives. There's a lot of money involved with the productions of these movies. So yeah, it's fun to talk about these things, but at the same time, there's
Yeah.
the professional side of it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, like once you're on set and you got a gig coming up where you got to do a fall, whether it's a horse fall, whether it's falling off a house, whether it's just on the ground doing a fall, you know, you got to be ready to rock and roll when it's time to go out there and perform in front of the camera. You
Yeah.
know, there's no like, oh, I've never done this before, or I don't know how to do this, or anything like that. And like, just you just have to be ready. Like, there was times where I've never done anything when I did it on set. There was a couple of times I trained. I just trained and trained and trained. Mentally, I was like, whatever gets shown at me, like I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it the way I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And like if they want me to change it, then I'll change it to you know however they want. But like the way I train for things, like especially with horses, like if I know there's a set coming up that has to do like a lot of riding, then I'm gonna jump on my horse every day and go out there and ride and
So
get prepared
typically,
for it.
ahead of time
Yeah.
what you're getting into.
Well,
Or
I'll
are
hear
there
about it
times?
too, yeah, because I'll think, well, I'll probably get a call for this, so I might as well just be ready. So when they do call me, hey, you ready for this day? Can you do this? And oh, you goddamn right, I'm ready.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Ready to
cool.
rock and roll, man. Let's go. Shit.
Oh, that's cool. So do you ever like train for things that you think you might eventually do down the road? Like, we watch, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, and he's doing all these fucking crazy things, right? Do you ever
Yeah.
think to yourself, maybe I should train for, I don't know, riding a motorcycle off a mountain or jumping off a cliff?
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm ever going to do a stunt like that, but I wonder if I should train for it. So if I ever get asked to do it,
Yeah.
like you said, you're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to do it.
Well, motorcycles is one thing that I was thinking about, I've never actually I've rode a quad,
Yeah.
I've rounded up horses with quads and, go into the mountains with quads and stuff. But like as a dirt bike, I've never tried it yet.
No?
I don't know, like there was something about dirt bikes where it just kept me away from them. On a quad, I was like do like fuck around on the jump or whatever,
Yeah.
open them up in the field and stuff. But a dirt bike, I've never really like spent any time on that.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, right? If you're not
Yeah.
really into something, or if it's not something that you feel passionate about, then
Because I got
then
asked
don't
to
do
do
it,
a
right?
bike stunt one time. He was like, "Hey, Leonard, like you'd be perfect for this role. We got this, this dirt bike scene. Let's do like a little tiny jump. That's about it." And I was like, "Man, like I would totally take this, but I'm like, I can't because I've never rode a dirt bike before.
Right, right.
Put me on a horse, yeah, sure, but or a quad,
So I was gonna ask, like, what are certain stunts that you wouldn't do?
that I wouldn't do.
That you wouldn't do? Like motorcycles, one of them. Is there something that you wouldn't do?
Well, motorcycles, just because I don't really know much about it. I mean, I'm kind of, I think if I was to ever get into motorcycling, then I'll go buy a Harley and just I'll just enjoy the cruise
Yeah,
down the
absolutely.
highway,
Yeah, definitely.
or an Indian motorcycle. That's one of the things I want to get is an Indian motorcycle.
Yeah.
Well, there's that, and like I've done a couple car things, like on Black Summer. It wasn't supposed to be like we weren't supposed to really impact. We were supposed to like hit some vehicles, but we end up impacting it, and doing a stunt where it kind of reflects on all the car accidents that I've been in.
Yeah.
I actually wasn't really scared of it. I was like, you know what? Like I'm not scared of doing car stuff. Horses, like I've done a lot of that. I don't know. I think it's just a motorcycle. Like I would try rafting. I would try boating. Oh, I don't know if I would parachute.
You wouldn't parachute?
I mean, like I want to. I kind of want to. I was like, oh man, I bet you that's such a good rush. But then, like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm in the same boat, and that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to skydive, and I could probably make it happen, but it scares me at the same time. And here's my problem with that. I think that rush would be
Yeah.
just crazy, just a crazy rush.
Mm.
But my problem is I overthink things, and halfway down, I'd probably think, shit, what if my parachute doesn't open?
Fucking
And-
right.
right? And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this, because with my luck, it probably wouldn't, right?
going on here?
Right, exactly.
Am I pulling the right string?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that, but at the same time, I want to do it. It's like same with bungee
Yeah.
jumping. Like I want to do it.
I think I
don't
would
know-
bungee jump.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I would try it. Bungee jump. Just a parachute. Like, I don't know. That's the last thing you need to do is just like fall to your death, Like, I don't know, man.
it's not for me. I get it, man. We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. For me though, it's not just the parachuting I wouldn't do. It's probably everything else that you have done.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do any of those.
Parachuting is one thing that, like, I don't want to, like, bitch out on it. I think one of these days I am going to try it. Like, I guess one of those ones where it's safe, where somebody goes with you.
Yeah.
Like,
And they're kind of in control, pulling
Yeah,
in
like,
and
yeah.
no. Yeah.
I'll check that out. But, like, I would still be kind of leery about it, There's something about jumping out of a plane. I just,
Yeah.
fuck,
People listening are probably going to push you to do it.
Well, like I said, one of these days I'm probably going to do it.
Cool.
I need to do it now because now I'm talking about it, and I said that's the thing that kind of makes me leery. Now
Yeah.
I got to do it. Now I got to do it.
If you do it, I want to be there. We'll be there.
Okay.
We'll film it. We'll
I will
make
let you
it.
know.
Yeah.
I'll like. So I think you can like film it too, right? When you, I've seen some people
I'm sure.
jump out.
Yeah, of
And
course.
they were
of
like
course.
holding the camera and.
Yeah, but I'll be on the ground. Okay, I'll be on the ground filming. I'll film the landing. All right.
Have your mic ready as soon as
Yeah.
interview, right? As soon as I land.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, can you make decent money doing stunt work? Because I would think that the more dangerous a stunt is, the more money you would make, or is it more? I don't know how to explain it. Like, not very glamorous. Like that Leo will get the the big bucks, and the stuntman here's a
Yeah.
gift card to Applebee's. you know?
That's kind of how it is almost,
Is it?
like we kind of do all the dirty work and, do all the stuff that's a little bit unsafe for our actors and performers that have to be seen in front of the camera. I guess it really depends on the production as well, on how much money is involved. And, sometimes, you could be making, you know, not the greatest. I mean, like, I shouldn't say like that. It won't be as much as like some of these big films that I've worked on.
Yeah.
You can make some pretty decent money compared to some of these lower budget
Right.
films. And then you got your non-union films where just kind of like it is what it is. Um, but like as goes for stunts, like it's almost like it's another day in the office. Anything can go wrong, even if it's a low budget. Like I've seen people get injured on a low budget film and people not get injured on a high budget film. And these were low budgets were just the same stunts as what we do on high budgets. Like almost, I shouldn't say same, but like anything could happen.
Right.
And like doing stunt wise, like let's say for instance, we're getting shot off a horse. Uh, yeah, it'll pay every time you, depending on how dangerous the stunt is, and what could happen with it possibly, so whoever's coordinating will kind of throw in a good bump for you along with the wage.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some films where you can make some decent money, you can live off for a bit, and there's some films where you got to keep hustling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
But sometimes you do it for the passion of making the film and enjoying the process, right? It's not always about the money, kind of. I don't know.
well,
I don't know if I would do much for free. I probably I would, to be honest.
yeah,
I probably would because I love the process of making things, right? So I
yeah,
want to be involved in it, but at the same time, you're getting hurt
yeah,
and recovery and stuff like that. Um, it can take time and money
yeah.
to recover, and you got to be compensated for it,
Well,
right?
I'm trying to recover right now. I got separated shoulder on this side, and I got some muscle tear on the bottom down here, and I'm waiting to get itching to get back on set,
Another day in the office, man.
another day. But yeah, no, I don't really think about the pay. For me, I really enjoy being on set. Um, it's a really good atmosphere. It's like you're it's like it's like family.
Yeah.
You know people on there. People know you. They're happy to see you. They're grateful you're there. They want to help you. Like I go on set and people are really, glad to see me. And that feels really good. And that's what I like about film sets is like, or sometimes I meet somebody I've never met before and we become, good buddies and whatnot. And the sad thing about everything is like when we're done filming, everybody kind of like goes their separate ways. Like it's almost like, oh, it's the end. Like we'll probably see each other again. See each other on the next set. And lately it's kind of been like that. Sometimes I see the same faces on set. Well, with production, I've been kind of seeing a lot of same faces, and stunts is kind of like oh, I haven't worked for this guy in a long time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this guy in a long time. So I mean, like it's a really good like atmosphere to be. You get to live in a world where you get to, you know, you get paid for your creations. You get paid to do something.
Right.
Like to
Right.
to like, oh, we're gonna make you ride this way. Well, while I ride that way, I'm gonna like do a war cry or do something. Some sort of gesture for that character.
Yeah.
So like I get paid to make these kind of choices. And like and just to enjoy it. Like I grew up around horses. So and able to like jump on a horse and ride this way and do like a loud war cry and throw a spear or a tomahawk. That's something that I did growing up. And then that's just what I love to do.
And
So
that's
like,
what people should do in their life. They should do
yeah,
what they love doing. What do you want to do for a living? It's like, what do you do for fun? What do you do for a hobby? Find
yeah.
a way to make money
Well, there was
doing
one
that.
time where I was working in a heavy equipment industry, and I was sitting in my machine, and I was like, God damn, like it feels so good to be on a film set than it is to be where I am right now. Yeah, this is a money making job, But am I happy here? No. Is anybody happy here? No. Is
Yeah.
anybody happy with the work that I'm doing? Hell no.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck about
Yeah,
what I'm
nobody
doing right
cares.
here.
Nobody cares.
But when I walk on a film set, everybody respects. Everybody loves me. Everybody, hey, hello, Leonard. How's it going? Good to see you. Glad you're back.
And that becomes addicting
Yeah.
because they appreciate you
Yeah.
and you feel the appreciation. And I think that's the big thing with, any sort of actor or, production crew that's been in the industry for a number of years. They don't take what you do as a stuntman for granted. They understand that you're putting your life at
hmm
risk for the film or for the actor that you're portraying.
Yeah.
And to feel that appreciation is great.
Yeah. It is.
I think it's important. Otherwise, you're just,
It's very
hey,
important.
fall off to the horse. Okay, next cut. You're done. Next scene. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's when I made that choice. That's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to film school and I'm gonna learn everything there is that I can learn about with the film industry, with acting, whether it's camera, whether it's lights, whether it's writing, directing. And so when I went to film school, like I learned all of that, and I was like a really shy guy when I went to film school. I was
really,
super
really.
shy. Before I went to film school, it was just stunts. All I had to do was just ride, and fight here a little bit and
Yeah.
stuff. I never really got into acting until I got into film school. So when I went to film school, like, you know, being in the industry, out of everything that really kind of shook me up, that made me nervous of all the stunts and everything I've done. The thing that made me nervous was standing behind that curtain, ready to go do a theater show.
Oh, that actually makes me nervous
There was like
thinking
a
about
little
that.
tiny hole in the curtain, and I looked to that hole, and I seen that audience fill right up, and I was like, and I had 2 pages of dialogue that I had to say in front of the audience, and I was like, oh, Leonard, please remember every fucking word.
Shit.
Dude, not fuck this up.
Oh, they say that you can rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, like for music.
Yeah.
You have a guitar part, you can rehearse and you can play it at home like
Oh, yeah.
nothing. In your sleep, you can be sleeping and you're playing it, muscle memory. The second that red recording light comes on, you freeze. At least some people, they freeze and they mess up. So
Yeah.
with live theater,
Yeah.
that's nerve-wracking, man.
Oh,
There's
my
there's
God,
no
yeah.
editing. You can't edit. You can't mess up your line and say, okay, we're gonna cut this and splice it together. We're
Yeah.
gonna do it again. No, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. There's no hiccups in this thing. There's like, oh wait, we're gonna go again. Cut, roll back. Like I remember riding my first bucking horse, and I was just super excited. I was like, man, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this and do that because I grew up watching all these guys get on their bucking horses and then seeing my dad pull flanks, and every rider had their own different style and skill. And I had my favorites I looked up to and kind of followed their footsteps. But I remember in the first rodeo I went to, I was like 16, turning 17, and it was like a junior rodeo, and I wasn't supposed to ride because my dad's like, "No, you're not riding. You're gonna take care of the horses and be a bucking horseman." But I was like, I was like, "No, I can do this. I'm gonna ride saddle bronc." So I entered saddle bronc. And I wasn't even like scared. I was just excited. I was just like, it's just like, I know I could do this because I feel like I've been doing this all my life just from watching.
Yeah.
And I went out there and like I stayed on. I stayed on my first horse, my first bucking horse. But I didn't know I stayed on. Like I didn't even hear that whistle blow. I was like, everything was happening so fast, like I was just squeezing my swells, and I don't even think I was spurring, but I was like, just rode that horse because it was. Good thing that horse didn't like pull any dirty moves on me. It just like bucked straight. Hey, as soon as it turned one little bit, and then I went off. But that horse was like, it kind of worked in my favor that time. But then after that, like I had a couple dirty horses where they would turn back and flop me down. But I used to tell people, I never used to get scared, even if the horse was street fighting and stuff on me. I said the only time I ever got scared is when I looked at that little hole in the curtain and I seen everybody. In Toronto. This is Toronto, where there's like
Yeah.
so many people that love theater. Everyone's gonna come watch.
Yeah.
So like,
And people judge.
yeah.
Before people enjoy, people will judge.
There was actually because we had 3 days to do. We had 3 shows, 3 performances. the third performance, I remember I was on my second page of dialogue and I was going through it, and bang, went completely blank. I was like, oh, I was still talking, and I was like, oh shit, my line. Where's my line? And all of a sudden, I just looked up at the light, and I said, the line came, and then I just like jumped back into character, and then nobody even knew that I lost the line. They thought I was just like it was just part of my role, you know. You can't even really tell when there's fuck ups, you know, like you can't tell when like when somebody makes a mistake unless you're, you know, the director behind the curtain, hey. Because when I came back off, you know, and I was like, they're like, girls are like, dude, yo, it's fucked up out there. I was like, I know.
But recovery is huge,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, man.
And I think that that's part of it because a lot of people who will mess up and freeze and, you know,
Yeah,
run. And there's other people, and maybe it's like your experience, you know, already being in front of the camera and your experience with acting and stunts and all that kind of thing, that when you mess up, you kind of knew how to get yourself back onto
hmm,
track.
yeah. That was like it was very challenging because when I first landed in Toronto, the first thing was I walked past the theater and I seen the show happening. And these people were like, just like in that world, you
Yeah.
know. They were in that world, and I was just like, oh man, that's so amazing. Look at like they're living in this world, this imagination world, and like to them, to me, it seemed like nobody existed around them. They were just like in that
Yeah.
world, and I was
Yeah.
like, I really hope I get there, you know. Came all the ways to Toronto. I drove 3 days to get here, and I'm gonna get there.
Do you feel like you've gotten there?
Oh yeah, you know,
Yeah.
like yeah,
That
like
that's good, man. I think that's got to be from experience. I think with
yeah,
experience comes that naturalness where you can transform yourself into the role. I think it's almost like, yeah, you become an actor, you're acting, but you can't act because if you're acting, people are going to know that
mhm,
you're acting. It's like you just got to become that
yeah,
character.
yeah. Where there's a book like I like to read. It says "How Not to Act." You know, and I thought that was pretty cool. The title because acting isn't acting. Acting is just it's just the title of it, right?
Right.
But really, it's like you're playing this character. You get to be this character. You know, you get to play this role. You get to live this life, and you get to make choices for this character. You know, so like you know, for me, growing up and just having like one channel on TV and the times I used to watch it, like it wasn't anything interesting. It was really boring. I never really got into it. But when things started getting interesting, I was just amazed by it, you know. And I didn't really know much about film back in the day. But I know like when I did an audition to get into film school, it was the first time I had to like, you know, try and do and like put my acting skills in. And it's kind of funny because it was The Rock that I was like, that was my audition to get into film school. I did what's that football show called again? The Mustangs one, Great Iron, isn't it?
Gridiron
Yeah,
Gang.
yeah,
The
Great
Gridiron
Iron.
Gang.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that one. There was a scene where he comes into the locker room. It's the last game, and he gives that real wicked football coach speech.
Yeah.
He comes into the locker room and he's like giving his whole team shit, you know, and he's talking about the Mustangs, you know. And I was like, and Tim's like, you know, you don't do it like The Rock. You do it like how Leonard's gonna do it. And at first, I was like trying to sound like The Rock, and he was laughing, and like I was like, he's like, no, man, like that's like me telling me like, I'm gonna go do like this Bruce Lee movie. I'm not gonna act like Bruce Lee. You're not gonna
Right.
hear me like make those sounds and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it the way Tim Bruce is gonna do it or
Yeah.
something, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the one that was kind of telling me about the acting before I got into acting school. And then, but I knew what I was getting myself into. You know, that's how I got into film school was doing that speech.
That's pretty cool. So you owe everything to The Rock, all right?
Well, I mean, I was
Or
a big
not
fan of
everything,
him
but
back in the wrestling days. You know, I was a Rock fan. So
yeah.
yeah.
So did you ever do the wrestling? Because you mentioned you were training with Bret Hart. Did you
Well,
ever actually pursue that and get into that?
after I dislocated my arm, after he talked to me about falling, and I went to go do this stunt and fall and dislocate my arm, like he never asked me again because you know he knew that that was a bad injury. And I went to go watch wrestling back in April, and I went to go watch it with Gabriel Luna and Brett. It was the Stampede Wrestling, the Dungeon Wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they had it up in Calgary, right beside the Saddle Dome there. Anyways, so I was watching it, and a lot of it, like they do like a lot of shoulder checking. They throw each other against the ropes, and then they come back and boom,
Oh yeah. It's like
you
hitting a
know,
brick wall.
or they clothesline, especially the clotheslining and like the suplex,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Man, I was like, that's why Brett never asked me again, because like I think once you dislocate it, it's kind of messed up for a while. Because I chipped a bone after, like, from the impact coming out. There was a bit of a bone that chipped off of it. So that doctor was telling me that it might slip again, it might not, but I've been working on it like steady hard. And then I ended up separating this shoulder, like, when was it? Beginning of May. So like now both my shoulders are like, I don't know. I can't really sleep on my sides at night. I'll put it that way.
I was gonna say that's funny. It's not really funny. But like I said, another day in the office. It
Yeah.
doesn't deter you away from doing
No, no.
doing what you do.
Yeah. Like after I dislocated this shoulder, um, when I did that horse fall, it was 3 months right after that. I was on The Last of Us. And it wasn't even like fully healed. But I had to go to work, man. I couldn't stay at home all day. And
Yeah,
so like,
you like
but
you tough it out.
yeah, but I was hitting the cold tub. I was hitting like the steam room, the cold tub, and the hot tub every day. I went there to the gym in Calgary, and they got like this one of those facilities that have like a steam room, the cold tub, and the hot tub. Got the lane pools, the gym. So all I could do was just like bike exercises, leg press, and then go in there and. But I sat in that cold tub for like 12 minutes sometimes. Just sit there and just let my body go numb. Get out and go into the hot tub, and it's just like needles. It's like tacking my body together. And then I go sit back in the steam room, back in the cold tub, then the hot tub. And like, I felt like that really helped me heal a lot.
Really. So you're constantly giving yourself physical therapy to
Yeah.
keep yourself
Yeah.
going, to keep yourself not just fit, but after all those falls, you're bruised. Your whole body's
Yeah.
probably bruised, and you can't just leave it and
No.
walk it off. You need to, ice baths and all those kind
Ice
of things,
baths, yeah.
therapy to get yourself back.
Water challenges too. Water challenges really helped me heal too.
What's a water challenge?
I'll drink water, strictly water, no coffee, tea, or pop, or even pre-workout. Strictly water for 30 days. And like just eat meat, vegetables, stay away from starch. And like, because I run a lot and stuff, you actually develop natural energy without using all like coffee and, these other stuff. I started developing natural energy. I lasted 45 days on the water challenge until one day I was like, I gotta have a coffee, man, because like I love
I
coffee.
need
right?
that double.
Well, no cream in my coffee. I just use a little bit of sugar. I like mine. But yeah, like I developed natural energy with just water, and it was feeling so good. But I was kind of getting lonesome for coffee, man. Like I needed to, because like I wake up in the morning, wherever I'm going, you smell that coffee somewhere.
It becomes habit.
Yeah.
It becomes habit. I like a coffee in the morning and sometimes the afternoon and something at night. But
Yeah.
I like it because I like that smell. There's just something
Yeah.
about it that's, I need a coffee in the morning.
Exactly,
Or
yeah.
even if I don't need a coffee, I'm just in that habit of I need a coffee in the morning. So I don't know if I can go without that. Same before the gym, I'll take a pre-workout just because I need that boost. And I'll take nootropics. Do you know what nootropics are?
No, I don't think so.
They're kind of like I don't want to get into the scientific side of it because I don't really know and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it like um, s- turns your brain on. Turns your brain on. So if you have brain fog,
Yeah.
it clears that brain fog. You can find the words that you can't find, and it kind of gives you a little bit. Kind of gives you a little bit more energy. Maybe not in the normal sense.
I might have to get some of that off you. Shit.
I'll show you. I'll show you what they are. I'll show you what they are. For me, they were a game changer. Actually, it was Joe Rogan that said something about main brain, I think it was called,
Oh,
or
really?
alpha brain. And he said that he started taking it, and it's got all this natural stuff in it. And I'm sure there's some unnatural stuff, but it's got lion's mane, which is a mushroom. And it's, I think in Asia, they use it to regenerate brain cells for people who are suffering from Alzheimer's,
Oh,
and it's supposed to help with all that stuff, all your memory things that go on in your brain. It kind of like fires those.
yeah.
So I need all that shit, man.
Oh,
I need my coffee. I need my pre-workout.
Hook a bro up,
I need
man.
my nootropics.
But yeah, like that's what really helps me heal up mostly is like just water, just water and eating healthy and exercising.
It's so important. What you put in your
Yeah.
body, I think, is
hmm
80% of the battle.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
like there's times when I'm on the road and, I gotta eat what's around and stuff, Can't really help it. But when I'm at home, it's home cooked meals, it's just water, coffee every now and then. I'm not a Starbucks fan.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I just see the price
McDonald's
of a coffee. And I'm
coffee.
like,
McDonald's coffee is like the best for me. Like McDonald's, I don't know what it is, man. McDonald's has like the best coffee in the world.
I like the McDonald's coffee, man.
Yeah.
And when it's like 99 cents or a dollar for any size, I'm like, that makes it taste even better.
Fuck yeah.
Growing up, did you have any struggles or anything like that? We hear about, all these good things. It seems like, you had family in the rodeo, you had fun doing that, then you got into movies, and now you're on the big screen and all this kind of stuff. Did you have any struggles?
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of has their struggles with, of course, alcohols and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had my fair share of having too much fun back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, nowadays, well, now actually, I'm trying to, be, be a bit more settled down, be more grounded, because I'm always on the go with film work and stuff and being, working at, just working around Calgary all the time, being on the go a lot and stuff. Yeah, there was a time where I did quit all of that. There was like going on 9 years when I was kind of sober and then
That's great. It's
fell
awesome.
off the wagon a bit, and then kind of back on the wagon now, But yeah, everybody kind of has their own struggles, their own demons that they have to go through and stuff, But you know what? Sometimes the good thing about that is like climbing out of it, making that change, doing that climb, just bettering your life for the better,
Yeah.
because right now I'm at a point where I'm trying to like better myself, I fell off the wagon for a bit there and then I got back on. And honestly, like I'm just enjoying my life, being with my kids, my grandson.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a grandpa, like, so I gotta, change those crazy ways around,
Yeah.
turn them into stories now.
Yeah, exactly. Learn from them, right?
Learn from them.
Addiction is a real thing. And
It is,
people
yeah.
battle it, and people who don't have addictive personalities or have never been around that or struggled with it, they don't understand. And you think you do
Yeah.
understand, you don't.
Well, like I've met people out there that are still battling their struggles, and I was kind of with them, and it hurt them out and their stories and stuff. So like, and like too, like even just coming out of it and being on the wagon, showing them that there's a chance for them to make that choice too. Like it's never too late just to quit.
Yeah.
Just quit now. For me, I decided to quit again, and I shouldn't say quit because like honestly. Sometimes I like to drink once in a while.
Sure.
The thing I hate doing is taking painkillers, like pills. I don't take pills. When I dislocate this arm, I literally told him like, just give me some over counter for now. I'll smoke weed. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't like being drowsy or lazy. Like I like to get up in the morning and just like rock and roll. Like go to the gym. Like I'm always like I'm a morning person. I love mornings. I like to get up and like have a cup of coffee. Watch a little bit of news, stretch out, and then I'm out the door,
So here's a stupid question. Do the painkillers just kind of like, I don't know if I've really ever been on painkillers. I had one surgery, they knocked
Yeah.
me out for it. And I don't know if I was on T4s or something like
Yeah.
that. But what do the painkillers kind of do differently than like smoking a joint would do?
Joint is just kind of like mind over matter, It just kind of like takes you away from there. Painkillers like will numb it. But I just feel like I'm just like staring, like I wouldn't have much to say,
Yeah.
like I'm just kind of like dead to the world. And I've been into so many accidents. Like I know what these painkillers make you feel like. The drowsiness, the laziness. Like I hate being lazy, like I'm always like getting up ready to go somewhere.
I bet with what you do though, are you in like constant pain only because you put yourself in situations where you're purposely hurting yourself all the
Yeah,
time? So I could see how painkillers could like become addicting for
yeah.
someone in an industry where your job is to hurt yourself all the time, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, I've been in pain a lot, you know? I've been in a lot of wrecks. I've been in, with, like I said before. And I think I just learned how to tolerate it, and just build up a big tolerance for it. I guess being in pain so much, it doesn't really hurt as much as it did the first time. It's
You
just
learn how
like
to manage it.
mind over matter. Like when I dislocated my arm and I knew that show was coming up, and I was like, I better be ready to rock and roll when this is when I get called for
Yeah.
this. Like, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready. Like I told myself, I'm gonna be ready. So like a lot of things that I'm gonna get that are coming up that are I just tell myself I'm gonna do this. I got this. I train hard. I'm fit. I've been in this industry for a while, and like I know my limits. I know how much I can do, and I know I can push it farther and farther too. Like I can, do jump off as many times as I can until my body can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. My mind can do it, but my body's like. But yeah, I don't know. Like being on pain meds is just, I don't know. It's just not for me. Yeah, and I think that's why like maybe I started having a couple shots of whiskey here and there. Because it sort of took that pain right away. But other than that though, yeah, pills ain't for me though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
Besides like the supplements.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Some people don't like the supplements. Other people swear by them. I like them. I think.
I like the supplements. I feel like at our age we gotta start, giving what our body needs and deserves.
See, I agree. So at the gym, I like these gloves that have hooks on them,
Uh-huh.
and it helps me to lift. And some of these
Yeah.
younger guys are giving me shit for having those gloves. Like, oh, you got to work on your grip strength. I'm like, I'm too fucking old to work on my grip
Yeah,
strength.
what the fuck?
Right? I just need the help. All right, just get off my back. So you're involved with some committees at the college. What's your involvement there?
Well, just recently I got asked. I was actually supposed to talk to these students and then, give them a little bit of piece of what I do and stuff. But I seen how they were just like, they wanted to be there, they wanted to do this, but they were so like shy to do stuff. They were still that shell was still pretty solid around them. And I thought, you know what? I remember being where these guys are. I just stuck around, and when they, because they had to do like they had to talk about making a film, put it together, and then we were gonna film it. So like I was like, I'm gonna stick around and help these guys because they were acting and they were really like scared and nervous and kind of stiff in front of the camera,
Sure.
holding their breath. And like, hey man, take it easy, breathe, man, relax.
Relax.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
Just pretend we're it's easier said than done. Just pretend we're not here. Just pretend.
Pretend this camera is not 4 inches from
Yeah,
your face,
right from your
right?
face, and you're looking scared. I just stuck around each day, and I told the committee I'm gonna come back and I want to come back and talk to them again. Because there's more people coming. So the second day I came back and talked to them again. The third day they were filming. I was giving them ideas how to film, and I was showing them how to do some acting. Just making them feel comfortable. Because like the main thing about, I mean, the biggest thing I find is that we're really discouraged. Especially on the reserve. We get like, well, not just on the reserve, but I guess a lot of people in general just get discouraged. If they see somebody doing something really good, it's like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I don't like, because I used to think like that. I used to think, oh, I can't ride broncs. I'm just a bucking horse, man. I can't ride broncs. I'm not good enough like these guys. Hells no, man. I got on that horse and stayed on. Just like when I went to film school, I was like, never acted, totally shy, barely even spoke out loud. And then I went to film school, and that guy's like, only like 10% of you are going to pass. There was like almost 40 of us in the classroom, and I think 8 of us graduated, and I was part of that 8.
It's amazing.
And like that's why I told myself, I'm going to be a part of that 10% because I drove 3 days over here.
Yeah,
I sold all my vehicles that I made on the Revenant, and then
Yeah.
now I'm going to come here and go to school for it.
That's amazing. It seems like, anyone in the industry that I've talked to in any industry, in order to make it, you gotta give it your all.
Yeah.
You gotta go in not at 100%. It's like 110%.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can you can't have this bit of doubt. And if you have this bit of doubt, you gotta
Mhm.
convince yourself to get past that.
Yeah. Because when I first saw a theater show, the first thing I thought was, I don't know if I could do this. But I bit my tongue and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I am not going to talk like that after just pulling into Toronto. Like, I can't talk like that. I drove 3 days and I'm going to doubt myself. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
There's no room for that in my life to like doubt myself ever. Even if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to do it. You know? So like that's what kind of got me where I am now. It's like I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the stunt. I'm gonna get shot off a horse today. I'm gonna jump into the frozen river today. I'm gonna go fight. I'm gonna fly across seas and go fight. You know, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. When I seen Leonardo, I was like, I'm gonna work with that guy. I'm gonna work with that man. And then after that, next thing you know, I'm on top of this guy, choking him, almost ending the show there.
That's awesome. And you never know where life is gonna take you.
No.
You don't. And then here you are watching this guy in The Wolf of Wall Street. And you're like, I'm going to work with that guy. And he's A-list actor. I don't know if it gets much higher than the
Mhm.
level that he's at. And you're saying, I'm going to work with that guy. And most people probably say, okay, yeah, good luck, good luck. There you are, literally hands on him,
Yeah.
choking him out.
Choking.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you did it.
Well, slammed him, then choked him. But like it wasn't like a hard slam. I had to lay him down like a baby. I had to lay him down like a baby. I had to jump on top of him and like choke him down. I said, but I had to be careful because he had a bad back and, but make it look real.
Make it look, yeah.
Like, all right, well, working like with the best actor in the world here. And I got to like lay this down like a baby and be gentle, but at the same time, throw him down, make it look real, and get on top like I'm going to try to kill him.
It's kind of like handling the Mona Lisa. Like don't drop it. It's worth millions and millions of dollars. Oh, that's wild. We tend to get motivated by people that are at the best of their game, right? We look at actors, like Leonardo DiCaprio in this case, and we say, I want to be like that. I want to work like that. And you think, okay, eventually you will, or you might get that opportunity, but you gotta work at it. You gotta grind, and you gotta put in the time, just like you did. You know what I mean? And things happen. Things do work out.
Yeah,
but it doesn't come easy.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Like it was. I got a funny story for that Revenant. I actually got into a fight before that audition, and it was with my nephew, and we were drinking. This is before
all good stories start that way.
It wasn't like I'm gonna like try hurt you. It was like, hey uncle, let's have let's do this. Like, but he was a big guy. My nephew's like he was in hockey. He was known for fighting.
Oh yeah.
He took on some pretty big guys. And I'm his uncle. I kind of like raised him because my sister would bring him over all the time. And
Yeah.
I used to wrestle him and, I used to kind of rough him up, eh? So finally one day we're, drinking. He goes, hey, uncle, I really want to, I think I can take you. It's like, I
Bring
know,
it
nephew.
on.
I don't know,
Bring
nephew.
it on.
And we jumped up and we were like we're like Godzilla and King Kong. We're blasting over the table
That's
and rolling
funny.
around. And I was like, getting on top of him, getting on top of me, and then my dad came on and broke us up, and what the hell's going on, So, anyways, that next morning, I woke up and I was like, oh, come on. His name is my nephew. I told him, I was like, damn it, I'm going for an audition. Look at this. I had like a shiner. I had this lip right here was swollen, and this bottom one was swollen, and that shiner was like kind of seeping down to my cheek. And I showed up at the audition, and there's like all these people, and I was like, I told my friend, I was like, hey man, use some of your makeup. Why don't you try to cover some of this up? You know? And she's like, gee, this one, like, why did you have to get drunk and fight? I was like, well, it wasn't like it was just a friendly. It just got out of hand.
Yeah.
So I
You just
showed
got
up,
into it a little too much.
I'm standing in line, to do this audition. Everyone's like, pumped up. Oh yes, I wonder what this fight scene's for. And they're like, everyone was thinking it was Tom Hardy or Leonardo. Everybody thought it was Tom Hardy.
Oh, so you don't know in the audition, like, exactly
Well, I
what the
didn't
scene
really
is. They
tell
just
us until, well, I can get to that point.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I, got up close, and then we had the stunt coordinators in front of us, or as the stunt coordinator's assistants, and it was Adrian and Jody. They were doing like this fight sequence. So we did the fight scene. But when I first came up, they're like, "Oh shit, what happened to you?" And I was like, "I was rehearsing last night." They were like kind of laughing about it. They're like, "Well, this ain't real fighting." And I was like, "Yeah, I know.
I like to get into my role, all right?
Kind of fell deep into the character. But yeah, like we had like boot camp, and my brother Tim and Jody and Adrian ran this boot camp, and then they assembled all together, and we got down to, I think there was about 40 of us, 50 of us left, and then we got down to the film set, and they said, "Oh, here's how we're gonna do the battle scene." They had the cameras going through here, and this is how the camera's gonna move, and you know. So we need the three warriors that are gonna fight, and Tim, Leonard, and Ty can come with me. And I was like, "Oh shit!" So we're walking down the hill, and that guy turns around. And he's like, "Wow, you guys must be so excited! You guys get to fight Tom Hardy and Leonardo DiCaprio." And I was like, "What? Really?" You're like, "Do you guys know each other?" You're like, "Yeah, like we're brothers." You're like, "What? Did they know you guys were brothers? Like, did they plan it?" And I was like, "No, no, no. They just picked us because
Good at what we do.
yeah, we do. We did the audition like everybody else. But I mean, like we were already doing like a lot of westerns before that."
Yeah.
He's like, "Well," he points at me and my younger brother. "You two are gonna fight Leonardo DiCaprio." And my older brother is kind of a bigger guy than me. "You're gonna fight Tom Hardy." And I was like, "Holy cow, man, that's sick!" Like, so like we went down there, we started rehearsing it, and you know, the scene where Leonardo's running to the boat at the beginning. Get to the boat, and then my brother comes running up, and he takes a gun to the face, boom. And he's got a fall on his back. And then he comes around the corner, and then you see me, do a war cry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then he looks at me with his gun, and then he like swings it, and then I have to duck under and pick him up. But before that, it was actually a different takedown scene. It was actually like, I don't know, we did something where it was just totally awkward. Like he didn't like it, hey? Like when we first went together, he's like, "I don't like this, it doesn't feel good." I told him, "Is it me?" He's like, "No, no, no, you're doing great. It just doesn't feel good how we're like meeting here, it's gotta be different." And I was like, "All right, all right." So then we go on top of the hill, and then the stunt coordinator brings up Leonardo's three stunt doubles. So like for a whole day, I'm like standing here football tackling these guys, trying to figure out a good way we're gonna do this. And then I said, "All right, how about this? How about when I come running this way, I'll do a loud war cry." And when I do that war cry, that's when Leonardo's gonna turn and look at me. When he does, swing that gun like a baseball bat. Swing it like a baseball bat, and I will get down low as I could. I'll pick him up and I'll drop him. I'll get on top of him and choke him. Well, he's got a bad back. And I said, "Well, let's practice it. And then so like we started practicing it. And what I was doing is I was like, I duck down and I wrap around him and I jump up, and I had this hand like grab the ground first, and then like it's almost like I lay him down easy.
Yeah.
And then had to grab my bow behind me and throw it up right up to his neck. And that's how we figured it out, eh?
And that's what they used.
Yeah, that's what they used. So I helped like choreograph that fight scene.
See, that's the crazy part. Like I said, man, you have no idea what's going to happen. You end up working with the guy that you're like, I'm going to work with that guy. And you also played a pivotal role in how that scene is actually done.
Yeah. Because when Leonardo came on set, Leo's like, I was like, "Hey, man, like this is how it's going to go down, man. I'm going to do like a loud war cry. And you just swing that thing like you want to hit a home run." He's like, "What if I swing in the head, man? What if I hit you?" I was like, "That's all right, man. I'm a stunt, man. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm ready for this." But that's on me. I got to get down. I got to do my job. You do your job, and I'll do my job. You swing that gun, I'll duck down. I'll get down low, and I'll pick you up, and I'm going to lay you as soft as I could, man. As soft as I could, trust me. And then that's what I did. And we did that. We did that. We shot that scene right on my birthday, October 9th.
Oh, how cool
I was
is
like,
that?
it's like, it's Leonard's birthday today. We're doing the scene with Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonard Provost. How good of how better can that be for your day? You know, it's like, what the fuck? You
It's
know,
like,
like,
happy birthday, man.
yeah.
That is
And
awesome.
it was like on a Friday, we shot that scene. I tackled him down, and we were like, and it was like, oh my God, that was so cool, man. Like we went out, we got a limousine, and we had some fun.
That's amazing, man. That's awesome.
So
What's it like working with a big star like that? Do you get nervous, or does it just become like a coworker? Like,
well, there's a time where there's a guy that I'm tomahawking on the ground before I go and attack Leo, you know? And at first I was kind of nervous because I was like, oh shit, man, I gotta be gentle with this guy and everything. And then the guy that was like hammering on the ground, he's like, hey, just think of him as another person. He's just another person like you, Leonard. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right, man. I said, I'll try not to hit you too hard. Because I had to tomahawk him twice and then like pick up my bow and then take off after Leonardo, hey? And he's like, I was like, all right, they're getting ready to do this. And he's like, you got this, man. You got this. Even if you're pumped up, you have to give me one good swing if you have to, then do it. And I was like, all right. So I saw him coming. I was like, I got this. I took off. And I went running over there. But that's how I thought. I was like, you know what? Leonardo, just another man, just another human being, you know? And that's the way I took it. That's the way I was able to do my job. I wasn't trying to like, oh, I gotta be careful because it's Leonardo and stuff like that. I just told him, man, this is how it's gonna go down. He's like, and then when he went to go see the playback, he was like, oh man, that's sick. That's sick. I love it. Like I heard him in the front of the camera when they're watching the playback, right?
And you're like, I did that. I did that. That's amazing, man. That's got to feel so good.
Oh man, like after that scene and like the stunt coordinator came up and you know what he says, like, you know what? Your mom is gonna be so proud that this scene that we just did is gonna be like on the trailer. It's gonna be used on the trailer. And I was like, what? Really? So when the trailer came out, I was like, I watched the trailer, I was like, holy fuck, that's me, you know, like.
And that's there forever.
Yeah.
That's there forever.
Yeah. So I'm, you know, and then like, you know, being on set too, there was a time where I was like on one of my chairs in the hair and makeup room, and you know, I walked in there, and early in the morning, 6 o'clock, you know, everybody's getting work done and stuff, you know, and sit in the chair, and somebody sits up, and he goes, "Oh, hey, good morning. My name's Tom." I said, "Oh, hey, Tom." Shook his hand, sat down. You know, they're putting the wig on me and everything, and you know, they're fixing him up on this side, but he was like, had his head back, he was sleeping. Somebody comes in there and he goes, "Oh, Tom, director wanted to talk to you." And he gets up, he looked at me, now I had my wig on. He was like, "Oh, hey, it looks good, man, looking great." He goes, "Yeah." I told him, "Yeah, you too, man, I'll see you out there. You too." And he walks out, and I told the lady, I was like, "Who's that guy?" She's like, "That was Tom Hardy. Did you know that?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" Because he had his wardrobe on. Hey? I didn't know it was him because they put that scar on. You watch the movie where he's got that bald. And I was like, "What the fuck? That was Tom Hardy?" They're like, "Yeah." I was like, I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know. Like, how come you guys didn't tell me? I was like talking my ass off here. He was like trying to sleep, get his hair and makeup on.
Yeah.
And like, I was just like, you know, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
They're probably thinking, like, the hair and makeup are thinking, oh, Leonard, he's friends with Tom. Look, he's chatting this guy's ear off. And there's...
Well, I think because they probably, because I was working with Leonardo on set, maybe they thought we already chatted before.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
you're working with like the best of the best.
But I seen the most like awesomest thing on set with Tom and Leonardo. It was lunchtime. Everybody was, you know, having lunch in the tents, and I went behind the circus tent, and I seen Leonardo. There was like a block, you know, and there was a hatchet there, and he was like throwing this hatchet at the block. And he was kind of like throwing it far. It was landing. I was like, oh, this guy must, you know, know how to throw a hatchet. Anyways, Tom Hardy walks up, and I was sitting by myself. Everybody was in their tents, and these guys were just like reminiscing, talking, hanging out. And I'm sitting, I was like, nobody's around to see this, and I'm watching this. And I had my phone, but I did not want to pull it out, you know, because like I want to be that person.
Yeah,
I want to give them their respect and let them have their, you know. privacy. So I'm just sitting there, and then they were talking, and all of a sudden Tom goes, I don't know, I bet you can't. I don't know. They made a bet, so Leo went really far back, and he like threw that hatchet like, and it landed, and he's like, "Woo!" Celebrating, and Tom's like, all right," and like say Leo threw it right here, Tom goes like half the distance to him,
Yeah.
and like the way he threw it like in a sidearm like this, and it just fucking ripped right into that block and then like stabbed it. And Tom and Leo's like, "Whoa, shit, Tom, you're a fucking killer. You're a killer, man. Look at that." And the way he threw it too, like he just like swung it sideways, like a side fucking throw, and not like it wasn't like that. It was like, and that thing just like hardcore, man. I was like, "Holy shit, man. Nobody's seeing this but me." And they were like laughing, high fiving, whatever. And then they just kind of like walked back to their trailer. And I looked around and I was like, there's nobody that saw this but me, That is crazy. Like
And now you're thinking maybe I should have taken my phone.
I
and
should have
recorded
like kind of
that.
like, but kind of had like a big phone. It would have been fucking noticeable. So like,
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, like to see them hang out and, do some shit like that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Like I said, those are two guys at the, they're A game,
Yeah.
A game guys, and they're just kind of chilling out and doing cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just, but yeah, I was kind of like blown away by that. So it was a good, that was kind of really, changed my mind about like partying and stuff after I did this film.
Yeah.
It really changed a lot because, before that it was just stunts with riding and doing small roles, but landing this big role really made me think about my career and my life. And that's when I kind of jumped on the wagon. I really took it serious about my film work. And then, it took me a while to figure out, well, it didn't take me a while to figure out, but to like, decide I was going to go to film school. I was thinking to myself, shit, man, I should have went to film school a long time ago. But, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So like, landing that role and working with characters like that, it really like built up my confidence. And then I just really want to be a part of production more and more.
Yeah. You think to yourself, shit, I can do this.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
So like, yeah, that's what drove me to film school after that. And as soon as I came out of film school, Black Summer was like right there.
I love that show. When that came out, man, that was like,
Yeah.
I became, I was like afraid of zombies again. Like they made zombies scary again. It's like, this show is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know you were on it.
I worked on the beginning of the first season, and then the second season is when I kind of got like a stunt acting role. But when I was in film school, I actually I went to Scotland to go work on the show called Outlander. And then the same thing, wrestling the main character, me and my younger brother. That's they had a magazine come out, Entertainment Weekly, and that had the Outlander characters in front, and then you flip the page, and like there's me and my brother wrestling the main character on that one page. I was like, oh shit,
That's
time.
cool. We should find that. And
Yeah.
we'll post it.
So yeah, that came out. I bought a bunch of magazines. I was giving the family, hey, check this out. I'll send you a picture of the magazine.
Yeah, do it.
And so, anyways, right after that was done, I came back. Black Summer kicked in right away, and then I was working on a show called Secret History of the Wild West. And I met a stunt coordinator on there, and then he brought me to Romania to do that George Washington film. So like right after I came out of stunt school or film school, there was like a lot of opportunities that started happening.
Yeah. Do you owe it to being in film school or having gone to film school? Do you feel like that kind of escalated your career? Like, hey, this really
Well,
helped. Now I understand
yeah.
the industry. This is gonna land me more roles.
Mhm. I like in the film school, it was like a crash course of production, but it really you really learned about getting into character
Right.
with acting in front of television and theater stage. So there was two different kind of acting that I was doing daily, plus learning how to do the production. So now, like being a performer in front of the camera, I understand and know what that director wants.
Right.
I understand his vision. When he tells me something, like I'll be like, okay, I know what he's talking about. You know, like this is what he wants us to do. You know, or that's what I think. But it usually turns out pretty good. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Until you actually get involved with post production or even just the production itself, pre production, lighting, camera angles, all that kind of stuff, you don't really know how difficult it really is to get a good shot. Like a simple shot
Mhm.
could take, you know, days, like just to set up, just like a lens flare. You're like, man, I don't like that lens flare. We got to figure out how to eliminate that, but keep lighting good. Sound is a big thing. And I think learning all of that is huge because a lot of people
Yeah.
think they can just get into making a film until you actually do and you realize, oh shit, this is actually a lot harder
It
than.
is. Like I did set deck. When I came out of film school, I was working on Into the West. I was set deck.
And what's a set deck?
Set deck is like, let's say this room is empty and we're gonna make this a podcast room.
Yeah.
That's up to us to make it look like a
Oh,
podcast
okay.
room. So I gotta like bring everything in and like decorate it, make it look like a
Yeah.
podcast room,
Yeah.
you know? So like doing westerns, it was like big round wooden barrels, it was wagons, it was like, you know, all this stuff, like dressed in the whole
Yeah.
where the camera's gonna be, dressing it all up. And man, like we were the first ones on set and the last ones on set. It was tiresome. Like that was like
Oh, I
some
bet.
like you're on your feet all the time, you're working, you know? And I was like thinking, I was like, man, my hat's off to these guys. These guys like work hard. You got to create something like, oh, we need something over here. Do you think you guys could make, you know, like a wooden chair or like, you know, something really quickly and simple? Run back to wherever, slap it together as best as we could, because the camera's not going to focus on it. It just needs to be there.
It needs
you
to
know?
be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know what that's like. When I was setting up this room, I started setting up like other little bits and pieces, little knickknacks here and there.
yeah.
And then I'm looking at it on camera and I'm like, I don't know if that works. And then it started to drive me crazy
Mhm.
of adding little pieces and removing stuff. And I think people aren't going to really focus on those little things,
Yeah.
but maybe they are, or maybe they're not going to focus on it, but it makes the shot look a little bit better.
It does. Yeah. It does.
And,
Yeah.
and people take that stuff for granted. You watch, like you said, all these sets, these westerns, all this kind of stuff. It looks like a western, and people don't realize someone had to create that.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone that never lost, probably like only slept 4 hours and got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to come to set to be
Yeah,
like trying
yeah.
to build this before, you know.
But they focus on the main character. They focus on the big name that's in
Yeah.
front of the camera,
Yeah.
not realizing part of what makes him look or her look really good on camera is the rest of the set that took, hundreds of man hours,
Mhm.
labor, money, all this kind of stuff. People don't realize what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Like I did that. I worked in a documentary before and the sound guy was like getting tired, so he wanted me to hold the mic and he had to run to the store quick. Man, I stood there for 2 hours, like they're like this holding that holding that the mic,
boom?
the boom, yeah,
yeah.
the boom, eh? And like, and they're just talking. Like, there's no action. They're just talking. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, where's this guy? He said he's gonna be right back. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like trying different ways. You know, holding it this way, holding it this way, like, and then they're just like talking. I'm like, comes in the door. I was like, okay, here you go. And I was like, walked in the room. I was like, I could never be a sound guy.
That's funny. You're just like, oh my God, my shoulders are hurting.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, and then like, even with the lights, like being in school, we learn about the lights, the cameras, and all that kind of stuff, you know. And I see the people on set, you know, working with the lights and cameras and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, that's something that you really have to love to do is like work with lights and, or work with cameras or visual effects and stuff like that, you know.
I think it's the creative process.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like the creative process. I
Mhm.
like taking nothing and turning it into
Yeah.
something. And I like working it until it's just like, that's it. It just clicks. All right. So that's what a lot of people like doing, right?
Yeah.
And that's why when you watch the credits in any movie, any TV show, anything like that, there's a lot of people involved. And every one of those people had like a pivotal role in making
Mhm.
that movie happen.
Yeah.
And then we all take for granted. Watch a movie, credits come up, we all leave. And it's a bit of a shame, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because all those people work really hard.
I know. I
They
always
work
watch
really
him
hard.
because I like to see who's on the stunts. Like, I know him. I know him. Oh shit, he was on here. You know, like I recognize the people in the stunt team. So like if, especially seeing your own name up there, like watch it. Here, there I am.
That's neat. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So when you're doing these roles, you obviously prep physically.
Yeah.
What about like mentally? Do you prep mentally? Do you do anything? Or even after a role, you're probably riding this high of, I just worked with Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you unwind? Do you hang out with your family? Do you try to like ground yourself
Yeah.
again and just kind of get back to reality?
I mean, like I know with the Leonardo, like there was a big celebration after
Yeah,
that
that's a
because it
big
was my birthday.
that was a big party. All right, that one doesn't count. That one doesn't count.
um, there was an audition. I never got the role though, um, but just auditioning for the role was something really, you know, for me it was very because it had to be very emotional, and it was very traumatizing because it happened to a lot of us, happened to the natives back in the '60s.
Yeah.
So this role was really like important, and to pull it off, like it took a lot of like devastating trauma and everything put together. And I really had to go there, like, and I always thought how it'd be like to, get that emotional on set, and I never really like did it until I did that audition. And it was one of my biggest challenges. One of my biggest challenges in auditioning was portraying a role where you have to be really emotional and just like let yourself go, and like I was really grateful to get a call back, and to be me and one guy in the room, and um having to do that performance 3 times in different ways, and the other guy got the role. But I mean, I watched the show after, and that guy actually really fit that role good. And like I said, things work out for a reason. And I was really happy for him that he got the role, like, because that was a really difficult role, to play. And like after that role, like, I started thinking like, man, like if I could do that, like, I can do anything. Like I want to get more involved with drama, not just do stunts. And, like I love stunts, I love the action, but like I want to get more into film. I want to dig more into like, getting portraying these roles where you just really get out of your comfort zone,
Right.
And that was one of them. That was going to be like one of them. Um, but like even getting a call back and having two of us there, it was a big learning thing for me. Even though I didn't get the part, learning like being how would you say it? I don't want to say denied, but learning how to accept that as a man and just kind of like walk away. Like
That's hard to do.
it is like because I put a lot of work into it, and I know I did because I really love what I do. I just I can't see myself doing anything else
Yeah.
than what I'm doing right now. And like when I did that role, like yeah, it hurt, but there was no like oh it sucks or it wasn't there was no anger in it. It was hurtful. I didn't get the role, but at the same time, I knew what I had to do. I knew what I had to do, and I know what I want to do.
Like to get the role if you were to do it
Well, like
again, or
if something like that comes up again, like how much harder I have to try.
right.
How
Right.
much like time and effort I need to put into it. Because it was my first time being emotional and having to let myself go for this part or for this audition, and then like the guy like we both probably like he probably put in just as much work, probably even more because he got the role.
Yeah.
But I mean, after that though, I was just like I gotta pick up my skills more. Even though I went to school, I'm still learning as I go.
Sure.
I meet actors and actresses, and they tell me some of the things that help them and some of the things that struggle, and it's kind of like the similarity of what I struggle with, and we all just want to do better. Get better at trying to get these big roles. So like yeah, it's there's stuff like that where it makes me think like how much more I want to be involved in film and how much I love what I do and how much it makes me feel good inside. Um, you know, like when I do like these falls and stuff like that, like those feel good too, you know, like
Sure.
I'll drive home and I'll be driving back home after a good stunt day and I'll be like, man, I just jumped in the frozen river, you know, like who else is gonna, like who, like I'm sure people jumped in, did cold, but I went like head first, you know, and I'm going back home and like, I was like, you know, I feel proud,
Yeah.
you know, and I walked away safely, you know. Just like when I did that horse fall, I may have dislocated it, but at the same time, when I showed up with some of my buddies that were on set, they're like, "Man, that was badass. You're fucking badass. You just like, you guys were like jumping off those horses, like flying, gliding off them, and hitting the ground and tumbling on solid ice ground. And you dislocated your shoulder, and you got up and you walked up that steep freaking hill." And then and left to go put it back in place. And then you're back on set 3 months later for the Last of Us. And I was like, yeah,
So it's like you don't prep mentally. It's almost like you're already there. It's kind of like your mind or your brain is already molded to you're it's like you're already adapted to every sort of situation. Like I'm ready to do this.
yeah.
In your personal life, like outside of movies and stuff, are you kind of like a thrill seeker or are you just more low key? I'm gonna save all that energy
I'm kind
for the
of,
big screen.
yeah, I'm low key.
Yeah.
I'll just train, you know, and then I just kind of hang out with my kids and, you know, do stuff with them. And
Brings you back to reality.
yeah, yeah. When I'm on the road, like, you know, before I was kind of on the road a lot and, you know, we're having drinks and whatnot. That was the only time you'd probably like see me out. But I mean, other than that, though, hang out with the kids. And then when I get a call, load up my stunt gear,
And you're ready for action.
give everybody a hug, and then go make some action. Yeah, ready for action.
That's cool, man. That's cool. A couple more questions. Couple
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
I think I kind of like these questions. They're ones that I thought of. So with CGI, it's taken a big part in stunts, right? You could do way more, right? I find though with CGI though, sometimes it doesn't look real. You can tell that it's fake. And to me, I'm like, you kind of lost me. You know, you lost the magic. It's probably good in the sense that you can do more things and it'll probably prevent, deaths and injuries and stuff like that. But do you think it's going to take over to a point where like real live stuntmen and stunt women are going to be, you know, out of work? Because you fall off a horse for real. You literally fall off a horse for real. Whereas with a lot of the CGI stuff, they'll take a shot of you almost falling, then they'll take another shot of you rolling, edit together to make it look like a real shot. But really,
Mm,
it's not. It's dangerous. I don't want to say it's not dangerous,
yeah.
but when it's a live action stunt, it's like, oh shit, that looks like it hurt.
I mean, it's happened. I've seen stuff that I did do, and then it got turned into CGI. And I was like, it's like we trained so hard for that, you know?
You mean stuff that you physically did, you
Yeah.
watched back.
Like I watched it on the film set and it was CGI'd after, you know? I was kind of crushed. I was like, like that would have been cool if they just showed us, you know? Like we were CGI'd and I was like kind of like pissed off about it. I was like, what the fuck? Like we trained really hard for this. And there was a lot of us that trained hard for it, you know? And like to be CGI'd out like that.
So they could do that without telling you first?
Well, I guess like it's not up to us to be like, all right, you guys, I'm gonna jump off this building. Brett, I see no fucking computer man doing it.
I want no green screen. I don't want anyone in a green suit.
You know, so like, I mean, I wish I could say that. Like,
Yeah.
you guys better fucking show this,
Yeah,
like, because
yeah.
goddamn it.
Yeah. It's fucking scary and it hurts, all right?
If I die, this better be shown. I better not see no
Yeah,
computer guy,
yeah,
like robot come down and just. I wish I could say that, but no, like it's not up to me. I mean, it's the filmmakers, you know. Like we're just part of the filmmaking. It's the filmmakers, you know.
There's always going to have to be that human aspect
Yeah.
to it. It probably can't take over.
Well, I mean, like I've never been in an editing room besides when I was in school. But you want to use what makes sense and looks real, you know.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure I'm sure like it looked really awesome. I'm sure there was probably arguments over it, but it is what it is, I guess. At the end of the day, I still went home and made a paycheck.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it would look cool to see yourself do it, instead of a CGI doing it.
Would you ever move to Hollywood or Vancouver or Toronto?
Well, it's funny you ask because like people always ask, how come you don't move to Toronto? How come you don't move to Vancouver? And why aren't you in Hollywood?
Yeah.
I was like, well, because I told everybody else this, that I was going to bring Hollywood here to Southern Alberta. I said, we have a lot of talent and a lot of like people that I want to get into film industry around here in Lethbridge. We got 2 reserves. We got Calgary up there. You know, right now there's starting to be like a lot of film happening, but I feel like Lethbridge needs some of that. Like
Yeah.
Calgary's getting so busy. There's like a wait list now. And Lethbridge it's just Lethbridge. Nothing's happening here, and I
Yeah.
want something to happen here. And like, I'm not gonna say, but I am in the works of making something happen in Lethbridge.
Really?
Yeah.
I want you to say. Maybe I'll ask you. Maybe I'll ask you off camera. Maybe I'll ask you off camera. That's really exciting, though, man. That's really
Like,
exciting.
And what it's gonna do is it's gonna bring like a lot of tourists. It's gonna bring jobs for my people in the reserve. It's gonna bring jobs for people in Lethbridge. A lot of opportunities that could lead into the film industry. Like I'll say that much.
That's
But
amazing.
I'm in the works of building something like that here in Lethbridge.
That's amazing. It sounds like whatever you're doing, you have passion behind it, and I think it takes passion to make things like that happen.
And I see it like I'm gonna put out there in the universe. Lethbridge's gonna pick up. It's gonna pick up. We're gonna start making films here. We're gonna start having other shows here, and you know, it's gonna slowly happen.
Listen, you said, "Hey, one day I'm going to work with Leonardo DiCaprio," and you did.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are saying you're going to bring your ideas to little old Lethbridge.
Yeah,
I believe that you'll make that happen.
yeah,
And Alberta is a beautiful province. We have amazing
yeah.
backgrounds. Our backyard is amazing, man.
I mean, sometimes it's windier than a motherfucker, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're used to that.
We need
We're
to have lights where they're so like solid, nothing's gonna blow over.
Yeah.
Like everything's gotta be windproof down here.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I'm really serious. I really want to bring like the industry into Lethbridge, and like our streets. We have such like antique buildings and streets to be used. People, in general that I've known around here, and like I don't know. I have my acting diploma, and I've yet to hear anybody say they have an acting diploma.
Yeah.
And I went to school for that. I brought it back here, and I think to myself, like, what I want to do is I want to spread my knowledge to everybody. I want to teach everybody. I want to show how people can get out of their shells and actually live their life to the fullest, Not just sit there and be like, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I don't have a ride. Or like, or he's better than me, Like, because like for me growing up, it was like a lot of challenges in my life, I had like a birthmark on my arm, and I had skin graft done, and I had to like fight my way in school because of this birthmark and stuff like that, and I was always told I couldn't do stuff, or I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't part of the group or something, like I was kind of like a loner, because
Yeah.
of this birthmark. And I kind of see that in some people out there, like they're so discouraged about, maybe somebody told them they couldn't do it, or made fun of them, or said something like that, and like there's so much talent behind this person, like he doesn't even know it himself. I didn't know it myself that I have this talent until I figured it out, and I had to really, you know figure that shit out on my own, the hard way. So like me saying that I'm gonna bring Hollywood to Lethbridge is because there's so much potential that I see out there around this, like, because there's so much drugs and alcohol happening on the streets right now.
Yeah.
Because there's no jobs, there's nothing for anybody to look forward to. And I want to bring that to people. I want to bring back that to everybody around this area, because this is where I grew up. This is what made me who I am. Is this whole area, Lethbridge, Begunny, McLeod, Standoff, Calgary, like this whole area of created me, you know, and I want to give it back.
That's amazing, man. I can hear the passion behind it. I'm rooting for you. I'm backing you, man, 100%.
Thank you.
That's amazing. What is it about what you do that makes you wake up every day and say, "This is it. This is my life. This is what I love doing, and I'm going to keep on doing it."
Um, like for me, I think when I started to figure out myself, when I started to like understand and learn how to like understand my feelings, my emotions, and learning how to use that and in front of like the camera, I find it's very therapeutical for me because like maybe there's things that are locked down inside that I can't deal with, but I can use it in front of the camera for a character, you know, and I can like at the end of the day like when you get into acting, you gotta learn how to open some doors. Like when I had to do that emotional scene and let myself go, and you gotta learn how to shut those doors.
Yeah, yeah. So that's hard for people to do.
Yeah, it is, you know, and I get that, you know, like because it's kind of opened up some doors, and like I had a hard time closing a couple of those doors.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I think that's why when I did that emotional scene, it was like um, being able to like let some of that out that's been sitting down deep inside me for a long time, you know, and able to like release it and then able to like shut it back, you know.
It's like an outlet
Yeah,
in a controlled
yeah.
environment.
Like especially like when I did a stunt where I jumped off this cliff and into some boxes, you know, just that feeling of like you see like the edge of the cliff and you know and there's you just go running, you just jump off like a bird and hit the ground and like all of a sudden you're like, wow, I just did that. I've never done that and I just did that. And it feels great, you know? It's like and like that's what I mean by therapeutical, like being able to do all these kind of things, you know? Like when I went to Scotland to go do Outlander, I rode a horse on the beach. I always wanted to ride a horse on the beach. I always heard people say that too. But here I am in a full gallop, you know, me and my bros fucking just like, because the water comes up to the shore and then in the mornings it's way back over here. So when it was way back over there, they want us to like fly around that whole beach like full speed. And those horses in Scotland, like they're big suckers, eh? And we just had them on a full like this, like we're going in for a rescue. You know that was the scene. We're gonna go rescue the main characters. But just being out on that ocean, and you know, I was like, this is like sick, man. I'm at the ocean riding, just ripping around on a horse.
That's
you know,
amazing. It sounds like the ending scene to like a 1980s movie, you know, with the sunset and the galloping out.
Yeah, but that's the best thing I like about film is like it's very therapeutical, and I think like growing up, you know, having this birthmark and kind of going through those battles with that, I think like having people their respect and you know being like greeted like, hey Larry, it's good to see you know, that stuff like that means a lot to a
Yeah,
person.
you can't let stuff like that to stop you, you know. And the people that you know don't believe in you, it's like fuck you, you know. I'm gonna live my life.
Like there's been some doubts. Like I remember when I was going to film school, like I told people like I'm going to film school in Toronto. Like, are you crazy? You know, like what do you mean am I crazy? Like film school, like come on. Like it's like
Support me.
it's probably a lot of money and it's like you fucking right it is. But I'm gonna go there, you know? And like everyone said I was crazy going to film school. I even got pulled over by the cops flying to film school. Like it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was still driving. And the cops like, yeah, see, I have an Alberta plate. What are you doing out here driving 2 o'clock in the morning? I said, I'm going to film school. He said, are you crazy? I was like, no, I'm not. I was like, everybody keeps telling me that. As soon as I left home,
Or
like,
maybe a little, maybe a little. Maybe
hey,
you got to be.
you got to be crazy to go to film
Yeah.
school, okay?
Yeah.
And do what I do, the stunts and everything.
Yeah,
I should have said, yeah, I'm crazy.
Yeah. What do you got in the works? You got anything in the works right now?
Yeah, I'm working on a Netflix series right now. We're still filming that right now. I just kind of trying to get over this little injury that happened.
Are you allowed to say what it is? Or
Um, I'll tell you later.
All right, sounds good. All right, deal.
But yeah, that I'm working on that one, and then I have some other stuff that might be coming up in Toronto. I'm still kind of waiting on that. But right now, I'm working on the big project that I'm developing here in Lethbridge. Yeah,
Amazing.
and that's going to take some time. I'm hoping next year we can be training and hiring for this big project that I'm making, and like I can't say it will happen next year, but for sure next year or the following year.
Good things take time.
Yeah. Because I want this thing to make sure that it's like perfect. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to rush into it,
Yeah.
and I don't want it to crash,
Yeah.
I want this thing to go on forever, because it's gonna build Lethbridge, like I said.
Amazing.
Yeah.
My friend Bill said, if you're going to do something, do it right.
Yeah. So like I've actually had a lot of thought into it, and I went around to different shows. Like I was in Little Bighorn a couple weeks ago. And I went to the Custer's last stand, and I was like blown away by it. I just felt that energy, like being at this big battle, the Battle of Little Bighorn, where everybody talked about, like, and seeing how it all went down. I had a private guide that walked me through the whole thing and
Yeah.
talked about how everything led up to it, and how like I bought the book too from there. I was like, I gotta read the book. He's like, read the book, like it's really interesting. And then but yeah, like, and he's like, yeah, we do a live reenactment every June 25th, just once a year. I was like, man, I'm coming down for this reenactment.
Yeah.
He's like, do you want to be in it? And I was like, well, yeah, I want to be in it, but I want to watch it though.
Yeah,
Like, I want
yeah.
to see how it goes
Yeah.
down, and like if I see it, once I see it go down, I'll be like, sure, man, send me a horse over. Fuck,
Yeah, exactly.
let's go do this.
I'll watch it year one, and then I'll come and be
Yeah.
in it on the next time.
I'll come back with some warriors.
Yeah.
we'll join this battle scene.
Dude, it was awesome having you on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man. Like, I really do. Like I said, you could have been doing anything else, but you took the time to be here with us today and share the stories and open up,
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so much more to talk about with film. There's like, like the story or the films that I've been on, like The Last of Us, being infected, being a zombie, on the Black Summer, just portraying different things like that.
Yeah.
Working with the guy that worked with, what's his name on Lord of the Rings. He does a lot of work in Planet of the Apes too. He actually has like a really sick short film. So this guy that taught us how to be infected for The Last of Us was doing like a lot of the ape stuff for Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
So he made this film. Check it out on YouTube, and he acts like an ape. And there's a whole guests of dinner, like all dressed to the nines, and they announce that they're gonna let this ape out. He comes out just as himself, like he's human, but he walks and talks like an ape. Like he's just totally all ape. His whole like after seeing that, then I was like, wow, this guy is the one that taught us, everything about infected. Like when he's like looks around and he's doing all this kind of thing, and he's doing all this like ape stuff. Like he walked and talked and acted exactly like an ape. He actually won a lot of awards for that. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I feel like we've been talking for a couple hours here, and I feel like we only like scratched the surface.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about with film, like, especially with working with some of these people like him, Gabriel, Pedro.
Yeah, you
working
worked with all those guys.
Yeah, yeah. And then working with on Black Summer, Jamie King, like I remember when I was in high school, like I had a big crush on Jamie King, as a matter of fact, I think I had one of her posters up on my wall one time. And then here I am working on her film, and she's showing me how you would be like to get shot in the face, because there's a scene where I got shot in the face. And I was like showing her different things, like try it this way, or try it this way. Try it like you're mad, or try it like you're scared, or try it like you're begging for your life. Try it like, and I was just like doing it over and over. And I was like, Nixon, all right, we're ready to roll now. Then she goes, just do it the first way they told you to do it. And she walked away. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like doing all these different acts for her. And she's like, yeah, I like that one. Maybe that one. And she was just like, I was like, bang, bang. And that good thing I went to fucking film school.
I was gonna say that's hard to do, man. And you gotta do it on the spot,
Yeah.
like right away.
Like, act scared. Act like you're mad. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Beg for your life. Like it was all these different ways she wanted to see. And like I showed her all those ways and she really loved that.
That's pretty crazy that, like I said, you're working with guys and girls that, you grew up, um, being motivated by or, wanting to be in a movie with these people. And it happened. It happened. You made all that stuff happen, man. That should be motivation to anyone listening that you got to give it your all. You got to put the work in, but it could absolutely happen. You're proof that it could absolutely happen.
When I fell off the wagon, when I was out there kind of, up to no good and stuff, and I told people that I was going to come out of this, and I said, when I do, you guys should do the same. I said, and people out there will see you do it, and they'll do the same. And they'll do the same. And pretty soon, everybody will look forward to something, And I said, and I'm going to bring something to this city. And when it does happen, you guys be prepared, All you got to do is quit. Quit doing what you're doing. Quit the drugs and the alcohol. And just really think about your life, because, there's always something good to come out of it, And I'm going to bring that to Lethbridge. I'm going to bring that when I'm working on to Lethbridge, and it's going to build up Lethbridge and everything around it. The people in the reserve are going to come out and benefit. It's going to show a lot.
Amazing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing. Hey, listen, we got to have you back on. I feel like we could probably talk for another 2 hours and share stories.
Yeah.
And I think we should do that. Leonard, be safe out there, man.
You bet, man.
But not too safe, because that's not really not really your MO. Then it looks fake. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, buddy.
You bet, man. Anytime.
All right. Guys, thanks for watching the Mach 10 podcast. See you guys next time. That's it, buddy.
Right on.
All right. I love it.
The Mach 10 podcast.